Okay, my screen is visible.
Yes, Bhaiya, you are visible.
And I'm
Screen is also
audible.
visible. Yes, clearly audible.
Okay, great.
Bhaiya, Sujan, could you
Yeah.
start with the general introduction of our guest before we can go move on to the
Okay.
presentation?
Uh, Good evening to all present. Welcome to Chem Darshan 2022 as we reconnect with yet another esteemed alumnus, our speaker of the day. To say the least, our guest speaker graduated from our alma mater in 2022 and is currently a graduate research assistant pursuing his master's in chemical engineering at the University of Calgary. An exceptional guitarist, he has been the president of our college's music club. He has worked with Open Foam at 4C IIT Bombay, and he has also interned at Technische Universität Darmstadt. So put your hands together for Mr. Subham Das.
Please don't clap for me. It feels very weird.
No problem.
Hello. I actually graduated in 2020, not 2022. So I will talk a little bit about the relevance of research-based degrees in chemical engineering and what career prospects they have in academia, outside academia. So a little bit about me first. I'm a graduate student at U Calgary. I'm pursuing a thesis-based master's here. I'm from NIT Durgapur, Chemical Engineering batch of 2020. I presently work on the modeling and simulation of viscoelastic fluids in confined geometries like porous media and microfluidic chips. You can see that's on the right, it's my group. That's a summer get together thing that we did last summer. And apart from this work, my primary interests are photography, music, football, and as Sujan said, I was a part of the music club for a long time. Um, so, what are research-based degrees? So, mainly the research-based degrees are a research-based masters or a PhD, and there are also course-based masters which include a thesis. But course-based masters are a little bit different from research-based masters, and like in my curriculum, I had to take 4 courses, and I had to spend like 1.5 years doing my research and developing something original. And for the PhD, it's similar. It's like you have 4 to 5 years to do the same. And for the course-based masters, it's a little. You need to do a little bit more courses, like maybe 9 to 10 courses, or it differs from place to place. Like in USA, it's a bit different. In Canada, it's a bit different. In Europe, it's a lot different with a thesis. So I will talk mostly about the non-STEM, like the STEM fields, and the non-STEM fields also have a variety of other research degrees, which I don't know much about, so I won't talk about it. So generally, a research degree involves a original or semi-original research idea, because not everyone does like very original work in their masters. The time frame is too less to start an original project and actually finish it. So semi-original research ideas are essentially extension of a previously novel research idea that somebody in your lab did, or something your professor and you, both of you are interested in. So implementing it and then writing and defending your thesis. And like you see in this cartoon, writing the thesis is probably the hardest part of these kind of degrees. Um, so do you need one? I don't know. That's totally up to you. But if you are moving into academia, you definitely need a PhD. If you're moving into management, I don't know. I mean, research degrees help you to get really organized, start a project, finish it. So it gives you a lot of project management skills. So you might need it, might not need it. Usually people don't get a research degree if they're moving into management. but it's not bad if you have one. So for research-based roles in the industry like R&D and stuff like that, usually a master's is enough. So if you have a research-based master's, you will be eligible for a lot of roles in the industry. But some like some companies ask for a PhD as well. Like if some fields where they need a PhD is one of the most important field is deep learning and AI fields. Usually they ask for a PhD if you want to get into deep learning and AI related research, and also like physics based simulations, physics based deep learning simulations and stuff like that. And most importantly, if you're not sure about if you need a research degree or if you want to like do research for next 2 to 5 years, please try working as a research intern first. And that does not mean the summer research intern for 2 months. Try working for a bit longer. Then you'll actually understand how it is to balance your courses and research together. Because when we do it in summer, usually we don't have any courses. We only focus on the research for 2 months. But in reality, it's a bit different than that if you are pursuing a degree. And you can also like try applying for the posts of junior research fellows in the IITs, IISc, uh, ISERs. Those are really good opportunities to get exposure to proper research and not just the summer intern research stuff, so that you can take an informed decision on what you want to do after you graduate your undergrads. And yeah, the plans, as you can see in this comic, the plans keep changing. So it's okay if you're not very sure and still jump into one. But from my point of view, I think if you are not sure and you're going to a PhD, it's better to get a master's first, where you get some proper exposure to research, or like work as a junior research fellow or research assistant at a university, and then jump into the PhD. So career prospects in after you have a research-based degree in which are not very well known. So most important roles are like most well-known role after you get a research-based degree is the R&D roles, which are like experimentalists and theorists like me. I am a theorist. I don't do experiments. So though like R&D roles in companies are the traditional careers for graduate degree holders. Now the next four are a bit lesser known. So for biology, recently there has been not recently, they have been there for a long time, but not a lot of people know about this role. They are called liaison roles, where you will essentially be a communicator who will bridge the gap between different stakeholders in the company, like management, R&D, healthcare providers. And these liaison roles are very common in medical industry. And usually people need a PhD for this one, but a lot of masters people also get into this. This is a pretty good role. It's a very interesting role. You have to communicate a lot. You have to be a good presenter and all that stuff, because communication is the key for this kind of a role. And consultants, yes, consultants are always there. So basically you offer advice and get money. And consultants are in an like consultancies are a lot in demand right currently. So I work in CFD. I worked a lot in CFD. So there are a lot of CFD consulted companies where other companies will hire you for a specific project and not as a permanent employee, but you will work under the consultancy company. So a lot of research based students go into consultancy, where they work in a company that offers consultancy services in their field. So that's also a good role where your projects keep changing regularly depending on the client's needs. And this kind of roles also require quite a bit of communication skills. Next is the research assistant, research associate, or like group leader roles. These are these are the only roles that are very similar to academia, because these are, I'm mentioning this, like these are parts of academia as well. So you work as a research assistant, associate, or a group leader in one of the universities after you complete your master's or PhD. And if you don't want to go into like hardcore academia where you go for a tenure track position and that stuff, this is part of academia, but it's not a traditional academic role, a professor role. Uh, and this one involves academic research. So academic research is also a bit different from industrial and research in corporate. So research assistant roles are usually more of the academic research kind. And the last one is becoming a data scientist or data analyst. So during research, you will do a lot of data analysis. So, but that does not mean you can easily become a data scientist or analyst. You might have to take a few other courses on like how to properly use data analysis, but a lot of people don't know that. So after they pursue research for like 1.5 or 2 years, they gain quite a bit of good data analysis skills, which you can leverage if you want to go into data science and analysis. And these are also pretty well paying jobs. But after your degree, you might need to do a few other courses, or you need to do work a little more before switching into this role. And I know a lot of people who actually switched from uh, hardcore like chemical engineering research to data science. So it's not very easy, but it's pretty doable, especially if you don't want to do a traditional R&D role or go into academia or something like that. So why did I choose a thesis-based masters? This is also a very common question among the researchers. Why did I get into this? So, and I have also asked myself quite a few times when my research does not go like I planned. So I wanted my motivation for doing a thesis-based masters was to get to know academia a little better before the PhD, because PhD was a 5 year commitment, and at least a 5 year commitment, which I wanted to I wanted to commit to it after I was completely sure. And I think I know a lot more about academia and PhD now. That made me lose a lot of sleep, but I also gained a lot of intellectual stimulation. I had really great talks with a lot of people. I worked on very interesting problems. So yes, I think why I wanted to do a master's, that part is done, and I graduate in a few months. So I'm not really sure what I'll do after this, but I'm figuring it out as I go. And currently, I'm writing my thesis and also working on the last part of my project where I intend to turn it into another publication. And so that was mostly all that I had to say about research-based degrees. And you can ask me anything other than stuff like what should you do, because I don't know that. And you can ask me about my research. We theorists really rarely get to talk about it. And if you have any questions later, if you can contact me on LinkedIn, or you can also drop me a mail at this mail ID. Um, that's all from my side. I'll be open to anything you guys ask. Thank you. Hello.
Request to the members of the audience if you want to ask any questions.
Okay, looks like nobody has any questions. Haha.
uh, Students should ask something.
Yeah, you can ask me anything about like research here and research that I did in India and how they were different and how I
I think
managed
Shubham,
to
that point
this
you
kind of
highlight
stuff.
that the what is
Yeah.
the difference in between two countries means in the perspective of research environment, research facility, and
So basically, I don't think there's a lot of difference between uh, conducting research here or conducting research in India. Yeah, there are a lot of more facilities available here, which is not available in India, or it's like you have to work a bit harder to get those, and also the exposure, I will say it's greater here, definitely. Like getting to know other people and collaborating with international collaborators. I mean, I have not done it in my undergrad. I'm sure it can be done, but I haven't done that in my undergrad. But I did it quite a bit after I graduated when I was working with uh, the mathematical modeling and analysis group of TU Darmstadt and so on and so forth. So, yeah, that was all I had to say. And this was, I think this was supposed to be an interactive session, so you guys can ask me stuff.
I think juniors should ask. Acha Shubham, one more query I have that the
Yes,
uh, uh, you see that the mostly in our department or the uh, uh, maximum universities I have seen that the okay theoretical work is going on at the same time the experimental work for the validation. So as you
yeah.
have mentioned that you are working totally on theoretical aspect, but then how you are sure or you are getting the confidence that the that will work in the real field of
Yeah,
process.
so I have so my group is not a totally theoretical group. I mean, my group has both theorists and experimentalists. So a lot of time we collaborate to like one of us develop the model, one of them do the experiments, and we try to validate them, and then get a good publication out of it, which contains both parts. Or for my first publication, like I have a paper submitted in Journal of Non-Newtonian Fluid Mechanics, which is under review for NUM. For that one, I used data from literature to validate my model,
Okay.
and that's mostly how we do it. We either use literature or somebody in the lab does it. And currently, I'm also working on another project where me and another colleague of mine, we are doing the theoretical part, and someone else is doing the experimental part, and we plan to compare them after we have built our parts and go from there.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice. So, what is your suggestion for your juniors when they are coming as a project work under us as a undergraduate project? So, what is your suggestion means, to them?
Um, I think the suggestion firstly should be, I mean, what I think I should have done is try to be a bit uh, like you. I think we need to firstly know how to read research papers. That thing, it's something that we don't do a lot in undergrad, and that after you start a master's or something, that thing starts causing a little bit of problems, because we often try to read research papers beginning to the end, and as undergrads it's not a very, I won't say it's not a good way to try doing that. I think for me, what I understood after starting my masters is like if you're reading a research paper on a field that you're interested, first read the abstract. First read the abstract. If you think it's like it can help you, then read the last two paragraphs of the introduction, because those parts usually contain what the authors have done and what has not been done before. If that again, like if you see that okay, this is still, I want to read this paper more and I'll get something out of this, then read the conclusions. Then if you are convinced that okay, this will help me, then start reading the full paper and go through the methodology, go through the results and like that. Because I think I
Discussions.
spent a yeah, I think I spent a lot of time in undergrad trying to read papers from top to bottom, and after a while I just got frustrated and I was like, ah, I cannot read this. So
And I am
that is
responsible.
one thing I think
And we are
we all
responsible for
should.
that. Ajay, another thing is that you see that you know that undergrads they are coming in a group. So do you feel that a group has to divide someone for the experiment and someone for the modeling part? So then it will be a good one.
I think I think in undergrad one should do all of them. Like I did experiments in PM sir's lab. I spent I think 6 7 months doing experiments in his lab. Then I did some simulation work in Jain CSR. I did some in ISER Bhopal.
Yeah.
So I had a pretty good understanding of what I wanted to do. But for undergrads, I think yes, like when you're starting out, you should try out both of them and then sort of think about what you want to do.
Yes, yes. And what is your suggestion that from which semester they should start the project work? Means normally it is final year, but in our department, means chemical engineering department, we assigned in the third semester itself. Though after
Yeah, yeah.
pandemic,
I think that's a
that was
good
not.
time to, yeah, I think the fourth semester is the perfect time to get started with knowing what research is, because we are a lot of us, we don't, sorry, we don't know what academic research looks like after we are in the second year. And then from the third year, we start preparing for like internships and stuff. And most of us don't really get to know the other side of like the people who go into industry, we don't know about research a lot, or the other way. Like I did not know a lot about industry because I mostly did research internships throughout my undergrad. That's
Undergrad.
why I was saying that I want to explore industry a little bit before moving to a PhD.
Mhm.
So I think the fourth, like working on a small project from the fourth semester, or is a good way to get to know what you can do in this field.
Thank you, Shubham. I think your junior brothers and sisters will ask you something. And okay, all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Uh, Sumda, I have a couple of questions for you, if you don't mind.
Sure. Of course, I don't.
So, the first question that I would like to ask is that you have undergone a lot of research internships during your 4 years at NIT Durgapur.
Yeah.
So, we have a lot of second years and first years who are present here and who would like to undergo a lot of research internships like you. So, what would be your general advice to them on how to find research internships and how to
So
get an
first
offer
years
letter for
don't do
research
anything.
internship?
First years don't do research internships. First year is not a time for
No,
like
I mean,
tearing
I am
your hair
asking,
out over a research problem. But
I'm
yeah, if
asking,
you're a
keeping in
second
mind they
year,
will be going to second year soon. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I think what I did was, so I faced quite a bit of problems while like looking for research internships when I was in my second year, because well, I did not have a very good CGPA, and in India that causes a bit of, I think not just in India, even if you like male professors outside India, the CGPA it's an important criteria, because the professors don't know how else to filter you out of a bunch of other emails. So what I will suggest to people in first year is keep your CGPA high. Somebody told me in my first year you don't need it, but you need it. You definitely need it. Like not high, like a decent 8 point, around 8.5 to 9. That's the best sweet spot. And the most, like the easiest way to, not the easiest, but the most common way to get research internships is mailing professors. Don't send like stock mails. Like don't send the same mail to all the professors in one university's one department. Remember, they are also friends. They will probably laugh about it. So, and also it's true that if you're in the second year of undergrad, it's not possible for you to like, have a research uh, field in mind or a research like what you want to do, you don't know that. So what I will suggest is just first try working in the department. That's the easiest way to get to know what research is done. And even if not in your department, like I worked on CFD, and not a lot of people in our department worked on CFD. So what I think I should have done, which I did not do, I could have just like approached a mechanical department professor, or I know some people from our department work with someone from physics department. So do that stuff where you go to the, like if you are interested in a field and like it's something that you think can be interesting and you want to work more, just go approach a professor in the university who works on that. Because I think professors are also, they like if undergrads take interest in their subjects. So also you can approach us if somebody taught you fluid mechanics, you can, and you work more on fluid mechanics, just go approach them that, or take a look at what they have done, like take a look at their research work on their website, or try Google Scholar. So the first thing I think you should do is try our department and our university, and simultaneously start mailing people, mailing professors from IITs, ISERs, JNCSR, IISc. A lot of people don't know about JNCSR. JNCSR is a really good research institute. They are not very famous, but they have a lot of good research facilities, and the professors there are like they are really good. They do very good research there. I think I worked there for 2 months. I did not do much of good research, but I met a lot of people who were doing that. So you can mail people from JNCSR and ISC, that kind of stuff. And also there are a lot of research programs which you can apply to Spark, Search, this and that. So
Also,
you
Bhaiya,
need
one
to do
thing,
research before you do research.
Bhaiya, one more
Yeah.
thing that I would like to ask you that about the requirement of GRE or TOEFL for going to study masters or PhD in
Yeah.
foreign universities. How far is it required, and how much importance does cracking GRE or TOEFL have?
So technically, we should not need TOEFL because the mode of instruction in our university is English. We all understand English, we all speak English, we all write English, we all study in English. Uh, but TOEFL is mainly required to ensure that you are fluent enough in English to continue studies at a foreign university. And usually we need TOEFL for every foreign university, TOEFL or IELTS. So, and but GRE is a little bit of a dicey thing. So I gave GRE, but but I did not need it. Like for Canadian universities, if you are pursuing a master's or PhD, they don't ask for a GRE usually. But there might be a professor you mail and then he's like, okay, what is your GRE score? So that might happen, but that's unlikely. Usually you don't need GRE in Canada, but in USA, there are a lot of universities which still ask for GRE, and I think a lot of them waived the GRE requirement during COVID. I don't know if it's back. So If you want to do a PhD or masters in US, yes, most probably you'll need a GRE. But before giving the GRE, what I suggest you do is go to the university's website where you want to apply, check if they need GRE or not. If they do, then give GRE. Otherwise, it's, I mean, GRE, it's not a very important thing. But TOEFL is important. TOEFL you'll have to give, but TOEFL is easy. It's easier than GRE. And
Thank you,
it's
Bhaiya.
not like you give TOEFL and then only you can mail professors or apply. Um, you can also mail professors, get like talk to them, and then if they are like if the university asks for a TOEFL scores, then you give TOEFL and apply. That also works. It's not like TOEFL is a qualifying exam for applying outside. It's just done to know if you are fluent in English for the it's the graduate department that needs to see that and not the professors. If you are communicating with the professor in English only, so I don't they don't usually need it at first.
Bhaiya, other than GRE or TOEFL, I mean, I have also heard that it requires to keep a good CV or a resume to apply to foreign universities. So, what are your suggestions to build a perfect resume or a near perfect resume while
There is
sending an
nothing called a
application to?
near perfect resume. So what I did was I did an internship during my second year. I mean, second year summer. I did one during my third year summer. Usually that should be enough. And
I mean,
what
are
I will
only the
suggest is,
internships are
yeah,
only
yeah,
the
continue.
internships the most
No,
what they look
no,
for in
not
the
really.
CV, or about
Not really.
CGPA
Do
or
all,
co-curriculars? Those are also looked after.
yeah. So when you're in your undergrad, you should not focus only on like I'll do thousands of internships and build my CV. So that's I don't think anybody likes that. I have seen people with like
True.
7, 8 internships on their CV. I thought, okay, what the hell was this guy doing the rest of the time? Like he did not have any time doing anything else. So get into clubs, do what you like, explore. Maybe I think more you don't need more than 2 or 3 internships. Like do I think if you do a 4 month or 5, 6 month internship somewhere, like parallelly while you're balancing your studies and doing the internship, I think that's a very good thing on your resume because those kind if people see that you have the tenacity to carry on research for like 6 months while you are balancing your courses and everything, I think that's always a good point for the professors. And also, yes, people look at the CGPA. That is the easiest way to filter people out, right? So CGPA, as I said, like 8.5 to 9 sweet spot. Other than that, get into clubs, do this, do that, have fun, and do research. If you and also like try volunteering somewhere or doing something in the industry, doing some industrial training. I did mine at DSP, that kind of stuff. I mean, undergrad is a lot about, I think, trying things out and then deciding what's best for you. You won't know what is best for you until you try everything out.
It's more about exploring and finding out what
I
suits your
Yes, I think
personality.
so
That's
because,
what you're
like I
suggesting.
said, if you have 7, 8 internships on your resume and like the professor sees that you did 8 internships but on like 8 very different fields, yeah, that's not bad. But like you explored a lot of areas, but you should also do other stuff than internships, right? There is more to life than that. Like three, four. I don't think you need more than 3, 4 internships to impress anybody. And the best way to impress anybody is getting a publication. If you can get one publication in undergrad, that's a big thing. I worked with like my work with TM sir was turned into a publication thanks to Uttarini, and we had a like TM sir had a PhD student called Uttarini. She helped us a lot, and we eventually turned what we did into a publication, and that a lot of people, like even after coming here, a lot of people are like, oh my god, you have a publication in your bachelor's. So getting to publish something in your bachelor's is, it's like it means that you need know how to quantify the results from your internships. It's good work. So if you can try pushing for a publication whenever you're doing an internship, and like if you do it for 4 months, I guess you will do something substantial, and then you can talk to the supervisor or the PhD student that can we publish this, and can I be a part of that publication. So that
Thank you, Bhaiya.
helps.
Now,
Publications help.
juniors, if you're asking any questions, please proceed.
Bhaiya, other than reading research papers and working on projects, do you have any other pointers or skills that we should develop before, if you're interested in research?
Learn programming. Very, very important. A lot of people get scared programming. Learn one language. I mean, I'm not saying build a website or something like that, but learn how to use a programming language. I see a lot of, even like in University of Calgary, I see a lot of people who are afraid to do programming. They are like, no, I don't want to write code. Everybody's like, oh my god, that's a black screen with white letters on it. People get scared by that. Don't do that. Because if you learn programming, that really helps building your logic and structuring, like turning an abstract idea into a structured form and putting it into a code. That helps you a lot, and you'll need this for data analysis as well. So that is, I think, one skill everybody should have. Like, it doesn't matter you're a chemical engineer, mechanical engineer, do at least a few programming courses and be comfortable with programming. Don't be scared of writing code. It's really easy. Mostly you have to Google. Okay, what? I don't hear anybody else.
Anyone with any further questions? Okay. Then, before concluding, I would like to ask Shubhamda to share some memories of NIT Durgapur from 2016 to 20. That's the last one.
Memories. I have a lot of memories.
Some of
How
them,
will
some
I
of them.
share? I think the most vivid memory of me was the memory that I remember from your undergrad was Rextasy 2019, where uh, we had, I think, local train. Yeah, local train came. That was a great night. That is one of the things that
These
I
people couldn't
remember.
experience ecstasy actually. Only our batch experience.
Uh, yeah,
I'm from the
maybe
batch of
you guys.
22, so only we guys experienced. These people couldn't.
Yeah, yeah, you
Uh,
guys. The others will experience it sometime or the other. Other than that, I think I did a lot of stuff. I also remember music club. That was also one of my core undergrad memories. Uh,
you were
I
the
was also
president of
part.
music club, and so tell
Yeah,
us something about some memories of Nescafe Jam and some other events.
memories. They were pretty smooth actually. I thought like when I became the president, I was like, oh my god, how am I gonna organize an event and this and that? But I think it was if the people so the final years for a club, I think it's very important for the final years to work together. And in the music club, I think at least 4 or 5 of us worked together, so everything got sorted out very smoothly. Nescafe Jam was fun. I What else was? I think I really enjoyed performing on stage quite a few times, and the one important thing that important milestone in my music club career was getting the university to buy instruments. We spent, I think, 1.2 lakhs from the university's funds to buy instruments for the music club and like for other people to use it. I don't know where they are now. I think they are somewhere. I talked to some juniors. They said they moved it to a different room. So that was one of my biggest achievements as the music president. Like, it was in the pipeline for a few years. Like the, I think 2 batches before me, it started. They started pushing this into the onto the facade, and then I think our director, he was interested in helping us out. So ultimately we did it but unfortunately after we did it, after 2 months the college closed due to COVID. But yeah, that is also an important memory, going to Kolkata with our facad and getting a lot of instruments.
I think Aviram sir is here. So good evening,
Yes, I
sir.
see his hand.
Uh,
Yes, yeah, am I audible?
Yes,
yes,
sir.
sir.
So, Subham, it is very good to see you. Uh,
Yes, sir.
I joined little late. I do not know whether this question is already asked to you or not. Generally, our students they have a focused mindset that after BTech through campus they will get an industrial job and join. This is the general trend that is known to most of the students.
Yes,
But
that is what I knew as well.
yeah, but you have chosen a different path. Okay, so
Yeah.
going for higher studies, going abroad, and so what are the opportunities after that? Means what are the possibility after doing masters or PhD? So can you please elaborate it to our students, to
uh
your juniors, so that they can
yeah.
get an insight about it?
Yeah, so firstly, when I started working in the labs and doing my internships, I was quite convinced that I wanted to do research. Like, I did not want to go into management or something like that. If you want, like, a lot of people might want that, and that's completely fine. That if you want to do that, it's better to go into a job after you graduate and then maybe get a few years of experience, get an MBA or some management degree, like if you want to get a higher degree, and then figure it out as it comes. But I was convinced that I wanted to do research. So what I did was I started applying for PhDs. I mean, I wanted, like, I initially I started thinking that okay, I'll get into a direct PhD and do a PhD, do a postdoc, become a professor. That's easy. But with time, I think during COVID, I was at home for 1 year and I was working with the guy from TU Darmstadt, and it gave me a lot of time to think about. And I decided that it will be better if I do a master's first, then think about PhD or something. So like Dr. Hens asked, uh, I talked a little bit about what opportunities you can have, but remember those that is from a Canadian perspective. Like, I have documented what I see around here, but I think it's also quite developed in. I mean, I think not all of these roles are available in India, but most of them are, like consultancy and moving to data science from like a core chemical engineering degree or something. And there is if you want to, like, if you, like, after you graduate, if you see yourself getting into data analytics or data science in the field of chemical engineering, you can get a master's degree on data driven modeling or like we are using a lot of data nowadays. So I think that's one of the primary uh, fields where you can switch from a core chemical engineering. Other than that, there are R&Ds in companies. They hire for graduate students and PhD students. Then consultancy, and also there are like research assistant and group leader roles. This group leader roles is very common in Europe. Actually, in Europe, most universities have like non-teaching research staff, and in USA there are also some of these roles available, which I don't know if you heard of Los Alamos National Laboratory, and there are Sandia labs, there are Argonne labs. So those labs, they are like, they do really great work on uh, simulations and that kind of stuff, and they hire a lot of non-teaching academic staff. So that is another good um, option to explore if after you have a master's degree or a PhD. So I won't say there is like there are a lot of opportunities in India, in outside India as well. In India, the problem that I think people face is like there are, I think, a lot of people applying for the same jobs, which and the competition is a bit more than it is here. I think you can get a job more easily here than in India. But otherwise, I don't think there is much difference in the job market, because India has a lot of jobs as well. And if you want to go into academia, then do a PhD, get a postdoc, then think about where you want to go. Like, you want to settle abroad or go back home into India. That's up to you.
Okay, thank you, Shubham.
Yes, sir.
Bit yeah, as you have already highlighted that data science and these things are important. I mean, it's upcoming. So can
Not
you give?
upcoming. I think it's already here.
Yes, yes, it is already there. But can you highlight some more subject like this, which you are seeing that which can be more interesting in the coming days?
I think so. There is one. So I work on simulations, right? And there is one not upcoming. I'd say it's being used a lot nowadays. A lot of companies are hiring as well. So a lot of like a lot of chemical engineering companies right now hire for uh, yeah. So a lot of companies nowadays hire for data-driven modelers, not data scientists actually, but people who use previous data, and like they combine physics-based models and data together to like make hybrid models for prediction purposes and stuff like that. I think that is a very good field. I mean, I find it very interesting. I have ventured into it a little bit, but not much, because my field, I mean, I can do that, but I don't have much time to, explore another new field now, because I'm close to finishing my thesis. But if you have knowledge about modeling and you want to do data driven modeling and stuff like that, that's one field that's up and coming. And but the thing is, though usually those fields need a PhD to be really good at it, because if you are combining simulations with machine learning, you need to know a lot of stuff. Need to know the principles of CFD, fluid mechanics, numerical analysis, programming. Then there is deep learning, then how to combine both, and so there are a lot of stuff. But in general, I think the easier ones to, like, the traditional paths are like getting into the university, not university, sorry, industrial R&D. where you work on developing their products or technologies. And then there is academic roles like teaching a research assistant or group leaders. Then there are consultants, there are medical liaisons. So this liaison thing is more common in medical industry, where you become a communicator. But I have also seen people do it who act as a gap bridge between the uh, people who invest and the people who develop the products. So if you have a good understanding of the product and you can explain it to general people, those kind of jobs are also a good they are pretty well paying jobs after you graduate with the masters, because after you graduate with the masters you know significantly more than a normal person, like an undergrad or somebody who worked in a different field. About, like, you know a lot about your field. So if you can communicate it effectively to other people, you can easily become a liaison or some kind of solution. There are different names for this role, like solution architects and liaisons, communicators. Those are also good. Like those are also interesting opportunities one can do, like get into after getting a research based degree.
Once more, would like to ask the audience if anyone has any questions. Ask Shubhamda.
I guess not. I don't see anybody. So just before we, like, maybe finish this one. Okay, you have some question? Hello, Santosh. Can't hear you.
Santosh Nayak, if you have some questions, please turn your
Unmute.
microphone on and ask them.
Or you can write it in the chat if
Yeah.
your
If your
mic doesn't
microphone's
turn
not
on.
working, you can write it in the chat.
Sir, from second year, which subject is more important
More?
for the internship?
There's nothing like that. I mean, I think firstly, I don't know what you guys study in the second year because your curriculum has changed a lot. I mean, in my second year, we had different subjects. In your second year, you have different subjects. But I don't think there is any such very important subject that will land you internships, because you have to study all of them, right? You don't have options. Only when it comes to, like, I think optionals, what are they called? I forgot what were they
Open
called. Like those
electives.
option open electives,
Open
yeah.
electives.
I think, yeah, you can choose them if you like, a bit judiciously if you want to. What open electives do you have? Like, can you name some?
As far as I remember, we have one called probability theory. I will name my ones. I took earthquake engineering in my fourth sem, and in fifth
Hello,
semester, I took
Yes,
hello,
Mudawar.
probability
sir.
theory.
Yes.
So, anyone else with any input on
Sir,
these?
hello,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you're audible.
Continue.
Continue.
sir. C program
Yeah,
language is mandatory to learn.
yeah. Very important. Like, nobody uses a lot of C nowadays, but it's like the god of all languages. If you learn C properly, your programming logic and like skills will be really good. I think C and C++ are the I think you should learn C and C++ first. So if you get a open elective or something on that, try taking that and mastering it. And try not to choose electives on the basis of this guy gives good marks and it's easier and he does not take classes and shit like that. I mean, that I'll agree that cost me a bit of that caused me some problems in undergrad when I tried taking, like, I was like, no, I find this interesting, I'll take it, and then I was like, okay, then I got a C. So, but I think it was worth it. I mean, I learned quite a bit. I mean, I took a linear algebra open elective once. It was hard. It was very hard, and most of us got C's. But I remember, like, I learned quite a bit in that one. So, I mean, you will always have subjects where you can score more. In open electives, you can try to be a little, daring and try things out. It's only one subject.
So, anyone with any further questions? It's one final call.
Fine.
Or any question you want to ask Shubham?
So, Bhaiya, you didn't
Yeah.
apply for the you didn't appear for the campus interview at all, like for the placements. You just directly
No.
you
So,
had it in mind that you're going to go for masters. So was it like a bit nerve wracking to like
of
come up with
course.
that?
So,
Everyone's
I,
getting placed. How's that
I,
experience?
so I remember uh, in our group, I think everybody got placed by the first 2 months, and there were three of us who wanted to go into research, and we were not placed. We were the useless guys who did not get anything, and we were like, yeah, we're still applying, we'll get something. So, and I'll not lie, I also sat for a few placements. Like, after a while I panicked. I was like, okay, what if I don't get anything? What will I do then? So I sat for I think 3 4 companies, but I didn't get into any of them. Nobody wanted me. And then I had the admit. So I also had another admit from IIT Delhi. Oh, this is something I forgot to mention. If you guys, like, all of you, try qualifying gate. Even if you don't get a good score, even if you don't get a like good rank, at least try qualifying gate, because if you qualify gate, you will have quite a few opportunities in like pursuing masters in India, especially because pursuing a masters outside India is expensive. Pursuing a masters in India is like quite much cheaper than pursuing it abroad. So since mine is a thesis based program, I get paid. And if you're applying to Canada, in Canada there are these thesis based programs where you get paid for because you have to work a lot. I mean, it comes at a cost. It's not like I'm doing courses and getting paid. Since I have to do a lot of research, I get paid. And if you are applying to Canada for masters, there are thesis based programs which pay you. In US, it's not very common, but there are also like RA ships and TA ships you can get that will decrease your financial load uh, a lot. And like Riddhi was asking, yes, it was pretty scary to go for only, like, I had one thing in mind that I want to do a PhD or a master, the higher studies and stuff like that. It was scary, but I will suggest don't do that. uh, it's really, after a while it gets really frustrating when you'll see a lot of, like, I had a friend, he was really smart, he did good internships, like he did internships from outside India. Then I think he had a publication in undergrad as well, but for some reason he did not get a mm, he did not get a like position, academic, I mean master's position, right after finishing his undergrad. He had to, like, He worked as an intern for 6 months at IIT, at a different IIT, and then got into a PhD program. But yeah, I remember he was very frustrated with this. And honestly, it's not like, if you have a job in your hands, it's somewhat like you will know that there's a backup. But on the other side of the coin is, if you don't have the backup, you're more desperate and you probably work harder. So it's up to you. So choose, like, balance your options, think what's good for you, and what if you think something is right for you, just do it. That's all you need. In the hindsight, if it does not work out, at least you tried. I hope that answers your question, Riddhi.
Yes, yes, it does, Bhaiya. And another thing, like you had it in mind that you're going to go abroad, like it was there, or was it a
Yeah, yeah. I had it in mind. I wanted to go abroad because in undergrad, well, to be honest, in undergrad, I did not do a foreign internship. The only one I did was after I graduated. The one where, like, when I worked at U Darmstadt, that was after like this pandemic happened, I graduated, and I was like, I had a lot of free time in my hands, and then I got to do something with a university that's not in India. Otherwise, the research that I did in India, I was not very satisfied with it. Like I said, I see a lot of, like, I saw a lot of people doing good research in JNCSR, but I did not do it because I don't know, because maybe I was stupid and my supervisor did not care enough to, push me into a proper research project. So I was pretty disillusioned with Indian research. But after coming here and spending like 1.5 years here, I feel there's not much difference. Everybody is doing the same thing. Like in Canada, abroad, you have more facilities, more exposure. In India, in India, you'll have to work a bit hard to get the same thing. That's the only difference. So I worked hard to come outside, and now I can take the easy way. It's a bit easier for me to do stuff.
right? Right. Thank you, Bhaiya.
I don't
Mm,
think anyone else has any further questions.
yeah.
So
So just before we finish, let me just tell you something. I
yes,
am
Bhaiya.
a second year master student. So I am not like, I saw the people who came to Chem Darshan and Chem Kriti, those were like really big, experienced people. What you're hearing is more from a like, I passed my undergrad just 2 years back. So it's not like I have a lot of experience in a lot of things. So whatever I talked about is mostly I have gathered during the last 2 years of my like after graduating. So don't take everything I say very seriously. Like, also figure things
This
out yourselves.
objective has always been to connect with alumni at different
Yeah,
stages of their career. If you see
yeah.
our Chem Darshan and Chem
So
Kriti, we have had people who have passed out in 2021, and we have also had people who have passed out in like 1990s or 1980s. So
yeah, I saw a lot
that
of. I mean, I saw those posters.
there was also the video in the Chem Darshan video. You might have seen that. So
Yeah,
where we
yeah,
have
yeah,
listed everyone who has previously come to this platform. So this is basically done so as to provide information to the present students on both sides of the coin. How it is like after two to
yeah.
3 years of graduating,
Exactly.
and how it is like after
That's what
20
I
to
meant.
25 years
Like,
of graduating.
yeah, that is what I meant. That I'm still quite young. Don't, like, go with everything I say. But like, you can just follow my suggestions a little bit, because I think if I would have done that when, like, if I would have known these stuff when I was an undergrad, that would have helped me more. And I can send you the PPT if you want.
That would be helpful.
Okay.
And participants, if you have any further questions to ask, you can connect to Bhaiya on LinkedIn and
Yeah.
also contact him via mail, as he mentioned. So thank you for your time and thank you, Bhaiya. Hope you enjoyed being here.
Yeah. Thank you, Chess, for like giving me this opportunity. I never thought I'll be presenting this kind of stuff when I was in second year of my masters. So thank you for contacting me.
Jess
It
will hope to
was
stay
great.
connected to you in future as well. So thank you.
Cool.
Thank you, Bhaiya.
Okay, I'll leave. Bye, guys.
Bye, Bhaiya.
Bye.
Bye, Bhaiya.